That's a good car. Recently, I stood before you and said that if you had about $10,000 US to spend, you should buy a used Subaru BRZ. And then we brought out a few other options as alternatives. Now I'm saying that if you have a little bit more cash to spend, you should ditch the avocado toast, you should ditch the idea of ever owning a home, and you should buy a new Subaru BRZ. But if for some reason you didn't want that and you want to live life a little bit more dangerously, we brought some other options along. James, this is not one of the options today, okay? But this is the 987.2 Porsche Cayman S. It is rear-wheel drive, it has a naturally aspirated flat six, and a manual transmission. It's very cool. We've got something else German though. This is a BMW Z4M Coupe. Rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, and underneath the hood is the legendary S54 inline six. But what if you want something that isn't so clinical and German? What if you want something that sounds like the scream of a bald eagle and smells like a bacon double cheeseburger? You can get this. This is a Corvette Z06. It has a 7-liter naturally aspirated V8, rear-wheel drive, and a manual transmission. But maybe that's too much for you. You could also, for God's sake, how did you even get it here?
And then there's this.
Fine, if I can't showcase the MX-5, I get to pick first. And I get to do the intro.
You're watching Throttle House, and I'm James. And this is a 2009 Cayman S.
A car that was incredibly hard to source for this video because less than a couple of hundred made it to Canada during its entire 4-year run. Huge thank you to Throttle House subscriber Daniel for coming through here. So, a 987.1 can be had for well below $30,000 US, but the 987.2 Cayman S comes at a premium for reasons I'll get to in a second. But this price matches the stiff competition we have today, and more importantly, compared to that Subaru, this mid-engined Porsche-badged beauty has 2 more cylinders, 1 whole litre more displacement for a total of 3.4, and 320 horsepower.
Now I know what you're thinking. 320 horsepower doesn't sound like much, but I'm telling you, in a car that weighs under 3,000 pounds, it actually is pretty quick. I think it's good for a 4.5 second 0 to 60 or somewhere around there, which for the road is all you need. Also, because this isn't a new Cayman S with a turbocharged 4, it has a naturally aspirated flat 6, which means it delivers that power linearly and smoothly as I build in second gear. It builds. It's very satisfying. Unfortunately, and it is a crime, this one wasn't optioned with the sport exhaust. I don't know why, you can't change it now unless you go aftermarket. And as a result, even though it sounds good, those sounds are quite muted. Also, even though it builds that power nicely, the gears in this are too tall. Top of second gear, like 120 kilometers an hour. That means you don't end up shifting much in this car, which is a shame because the shifting experience in this 6-speed manual is one of the absolute highlights of this car. This is the envy of every BMW shifter. It's purposeful, it doesn't have the elasticity or the notchiness, it feels expensive. The clutch, intuitive without being too heavy in traffic. There's so many things this car does so well that are just classic Porsche of this era. The ergonomics, everything falls to hand beautifully. My elbow rests exactly where I want it to be. The driving position, comfortable, low, the distance between shifter and steering wheel. Even visibility, which could be compromised in a sports car, isn't. It's wonderful. And I'm not a pervert, but and I know nothing good starts with that. But someone at Porsche is, because those rear haunches, which look good from the outside, in these wing mirrors, They are R-rated. Call it German precision engineering. But that is a perfect arse. Something about those curves, the way they're so perfectly crafted and solid, and the way that they reflect the ink. No! Considering that even though this is the newest, technically, of the three, it's also the most mileaged up by far. This is at almost 100,000 kilometers on it. And considering that, the powertrain, which by the way, is very forgiving, like, maybe because the gears are so tall, but you can drive this and make mistakes and shift down and shift up. And it's so easy to rev match in it. Oh, beautiful. It feels brand new. Feels like it rolled off the dealership floor in that sense. Where it's sort of starting to feel a bit tired is the suspension. Now this doesn't have PASM, Porsche's active suspension management, and apparently very few of these cars got it. So I imagine it would be better with that. But even still, I can feel like it would have been a bit better 94,000 kilometers ago. It's slightly crashy over bumps, and it's slightly rigid. I have a sport button here, but that doesn't change the dampers, that just changes the throttle mapping. Which probably would have more of a profound effect if you'd opted for an automatic, because this car versus the 0.1 had a PDK, which I haven't tried, but I'm told is a huge upgrade, even though it's one of the early iterations of PDK, over the Tiptronic that came before it. The steering, which is hydraulic, which doesn't necessarily mean it's fantastic, but in this, it's great. It weights up nicely, plenty of feedback coming through the road. I thought that would be a low point of this car from what I've read. It's not, it's good. But to me, that's the Cayman way. That's the things it should be good at. It handles beautifully, it's arousing, it's quick, it has a smooth powertrain. And the result is you end up with an incredibly competent, very planted sports car that isn't necessarily the most fun. It's just very, very good. That's an annoying Cayman thing, because I want it to be more exciting, but it's not. And on top of all of those things, because this is a 987.2, it has a reputation for reliability. The 987.1 suffered from bore scoring and to a lesser degree IMS issues. This doesn't even have IMS. It has upgrades, it has direct injection. You're looking at a flat six, high revving, smooth, pretty Porsche badged bastion of reliability. Asterisk if you do all the correct maintenance that might be slightly expensive.
James, reliability is boring.
Why?
The whole idea of this video is to live on the edge, live dangerously. Why have reliability when you can have a constant need for maintenance?
With the S54 engine?
This is the S54, yeah.
What have you got to do to maintain it?
Lots of stuff, a lot of things.
Okay,
actually.
name one thing.
Oil. Pay attention to the oil.
Okay.
Make sure it's heated up properly. Make sure you change it frequently. Make sure you use really good oil. There's a lot of oil. Pay attention to the oil.
Does that mean you have to carry oil around with you?
You probably should, yeah.
Probably should.
Yeah.
It's actually quite good then that WeatherTech supported this video.
It is? Why?
Oh, come on. James, why do I always have to be the one that does this?
Because you're the tester.
What is this even? This isn't proving anything about WeatherTech mats. Do I at least have a cool name?
Yep. You're Matt Leave.
Oh.
So we've covered you in the WeatherTech cargo mat. The same way you'd want to protect a car, it's protecting you. All right, just stand still.
Okay, well, what's in the gun? What are we, I don't understand.
Oil. Just oil.
Okay.
Just close your eyes, stay still. All right, hang on, keep your eyes closed. You lay down, be the floor, and I'm just gonna make a quick modification.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if this works.
Okay, on the ground.
Okay.
Yep. Did you just pour oil in my face?
Is that maple syrup?
You're not here to ask questions, Thomas. You're here to answer them. Is the baby protected by the mat?
That's not why people buy WeatherTech mats. That's delicious.
Okay. The Z4M. This car embodies
everything that I like about BMW. It's the best of everything from the era of BMW that I love the most. Up front, that S54 is such a wailing weapon. Someone once described it negatively as sounding like a chainsaw. And I was like, yeah, it does. And that's pretty freaking cool. Woo! Now, the reason you go through all the troubles and the pain of owning a car with an S54 is because you get a racing engine. It's a car that makes you chase revs. It's a car that screams right to the red line. And because of the independent throttle bodies, it has razor throttle response. It's literally instant. It's fantastic. And because it's such a coarse, angry engine, you can feel the vibrations through the car into your hands and your butt and your feet. You can feel the RPMs change as you run up through the gears. It's a car where you get to be connected to the engine. Speaking of connected to things, this is from the era of BMW, as I said, where everything was great. And this particular car takes everything I've loved about the E46 M3, my favorite BMW, and just turns it up a notch. The chassis is so stiff and the car is light. Because the chassis is rigid torsionally, the suspension can do just suspension things. When you go over a bump, it deals with everything harshly, but quickly. It's bang, done, bang, done. It's stiff, but excellently damped. I've heard some people say that the ride in this car is too stiff. If you think the ride in this car is too stiff, I think you fundamentally misunderstood what a sports car is. Because yes, it's stiff and there's not a lot of travel, but the car as a result is so engaging over the bumps. This is a great car to drive. Don't like the manual though. I just don't like it. And that's not a Z4M thing, that's a BMW thing. The 1 to 2 shift, BMW cannot seem to figure out how to do that. Even though this one has a clutch delay valve delete, which is an absolutely imperative modification in this era of BMW, you still can't always catch the revs right, and I feel like the revs don't fall at the same speed every time. It's annoying, but once you're past second gear, you're fine. Steering though, this is an interesting one because the regular Z4 from this era had electric power steering. This has hydraulic power steering. And not only does it have a faster rack than the regular Z4, it has a faster rack than the E46 M3 CSL. I think this has the fastest steering rack of any BMW from the era. But weirdly, the steering isn't any better from a feedback perspective to the electric power steering in the Z4. I don't know what it is. On the straightaway here, there's so much road texture, and I just love the way it feels in a straight line, but when you load it up in a corner, it's a bit disappointing. I thought it was gonna be just a bit better, but still leagues above all modern BMWs. Yeah, it's quick. That's a fun car. As I said, the Z4M is all of my favorite parts of BMW in one car. This is, I think it's an all-time great BMW. A car like this is what got me into cars in the first place. You ready? Whoa, here we go. Oh.
This feels like it's like the baddie that consumes the power of the other two.
This is different, James. This is different to the other two.
Well, that amount of power with basically the same weight as the BMW. The other two are Corollas compared to this. They're Corollas.
And that's mainly because the C6 Z06 was given the ridiculous LS7 engine. That means that this 2008 example, provided by another awesome Throttle House subscriber, is powered by a 7-liter small block V8 that revs to 7,000 RPM and makes 505 naturally aspirated horsepower. But it isn't just a big dumb lump of American Detroit, it's a very advanced engine, forged crankshaft, titanium internals, and a dry sump oil system. Even in the presence of Porsche and BMW's best of the era, it's still eye-opening.
The LS7 is not without its problems, though. No. It's known for, well, being extremely powerful and loud like that, but also having some valve guide issues. Apparently you can drop valves in these, and that's an expensive fix. Really expensive. Only in half of them, apparently, though.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
But, you know, it goes along with the theme of the day. Don't be smart and buy a new car that's sensible. Be a little bit brave.
And your courage gets you certain things in this. Like, I love the sort of retro head-up display in this.
It's so retro.
I like that.
It is.
It's spacious in here.
It is spacious.
So I've driven this as well.
Yep.
And it's definitely scarier as a passenger.
It must be said that in a straight line, the other two cannot touch this car.
It's a performance powerhouse.
It's just, the displacement is nuts, and it revs to 7,000.
That ends every complaint, because what car can you name at this price? And maybe there is one, but I haven't thought of it. That is naturally aspirated, manual, rear-wheel drive with this amount of displacement and horsepower, and is only just over £3,000.
Nothing exists. That's it. It's crazy.
It's violent.
It really is, and it makes a great noise.
I think this has surprisingly good traction.
It has surprisingly good traction, I agree with you. The manual and the shifting and the straight line experience of this car are absolutely brilliant. You are getting your money's worth. In the corners, though...
It does the old America thing.
So, you have to understand that this car is very archaic in its design.
Yes.
Leaf springs, front and back. Leaf springs. In the floor, underneath your feet, there's balsa wood. And I'm not joking.
Balsa wood is the one where you can stick your finger through it. It's so soft, right?
Yeah, it's really light, and you use it to make paper airplanes as a kid. It's about as soft as styrofoam.
Except they're not paper airplanes.
Okay, they'd be balsa wood airplanes.
They'd be balsa wood
Yeah,
airplanes.
no, I see what
but
you did.
But it's basically paper.
The other two cars they don't feel like they're from the same era. They feel like they are 20 years later.
Yes.
Like, that's the difference.
Well, we caught a lot of flack when we said that the ZR1 was sort of like, you know.
It's okay. Like, it's okay. It's not, and this is that, but worse, essentially.
And we only say that because of how it takes credit away from how far GM and Ford have come. Because when you now look at Mustangs and Corvettes and compare them to their German counterparts, they're on par.
Yes, they absolutely are. This isn't. It wasn't. And you can really feel. Yeah, the power's good.
You get drunk off it.
It's good. Now that the corners are over, everything's fine.
Yeah.
But as a result of, you know, the leaf springs and just not quite being there at that level of engineering that the Germans were, this is a very sloopy, loopy-doopy car.
Yes.
Those are the words.
Not much communication coming from the steering.
No, there's no communication coming from the steering whatsoever.
The line's gone dead.
The line is gone. Yeah, that is what the steering feels like. And the front end, in the same way, is there's so little refinement to the front end in general,
yes.
Right?
It feels 500 pounds heavier than it is.
Absolutely, yeah. You can feel the jiggles and the wiggles going through the whole chassis as you go over the bumps. It isn't a sharp experience. Like, for an American car of the period, it's a sharp experience.
Yes.
And that's why it was impressive, and that's why people love it. But if you're buying this car, out of these three, you're buying it for the engine.
You're buying power.
You're buying power.
Yeah.
And if that's what you're into, I'm not going to fault you for that, because that is a very good reason to buy a sports car.
The ride's not terrible.
The ride is not terrible.
It's got a longer wheelbase. It's quite loud. It's quite loud at highway speeds though.
Yeah, they all are actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it just isn't at the same level of precision that those other two
But
cars
again,
are.
the power shuts everything up.
No, I agree with you.
You cannot
yes.
get this power stock
No.
at this price.
You can't. And it's great because it has such a uniquely American flavor in the engine department, right? Both the BMW and the Porsche have great engines.
Yes.
And each of those engines is so quintessentially that brand in the same way that this engine is quintessentially this brand. It's just a big fat pushrod V8, 7 liters, with a whole bunch of fancy trickery to be able to make it rev to 7,000 RPM and have that much power. It's great.
Oh my god. Like, it blows my mind that this is the same price as a new BRZ. Like, the engines across all three are so much more exotic.
Yes, they really
It makes
really
it
are.
so difficult.
It does make it genuinely difficult when you're talking about a BRZ. No, fair enough.
Somewhere amongst these 4 cars, if you could collect characteristics from all of them,
Yeah.
there is a perfect car. And I wonder if from this one, it just have to be the engine.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know. That S54 is pretty good. You know what? Let's line them up.
Okay.
All right, that was an experience.
It was.
The thing is that it's very, very important
Yes.
in any segment of car that you're buying that you like the look of it.
I can't see them. The reflection off of that shirt means that it's the only thing in the world that exists
Listen,
right now.
you told me this morning, you said you're going to be driving a black car with tinted windows and black seats, wear something bright. So I did.
And we have all paid the price for that, I'm sorry.
This is great.
But you're right. You need to, when you're buying a sports car, you want to be able to look back and be like, yes.
Yes, exactly. Does this do that though?
You know what? We weren't sure about it when we were visiting the ZR1.
Yes.
And maybe it's a sheep thing. Maybe it's a conformity thing. But everyone getting annoyed at us for not
Wait, sorry, what's sheep have to do with it?
conforming. Just being a sheep.
Oh, I see.
I'm a sheep.
You did, are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone saying we don't get how simple and perfect it is.
Yeah.
I've been manipulated, and I actually kind of like it now. I get it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, this has a few tweaks, right? This has the ZR1 front splitter and side skirts.
Yes.
Visually,
And
but
it
like
has chrome wheels.
they work on this.
Listen, they do work on this car. The thing is that I've never been a huge fan, well, of most Corvettes, if I'm being honest with you, except for the C2. I'm just not a Corvette guy in general.
Okay.
But the reason that this one kind of rubs me the wrong way, I agree, the proportions are perfect. I really like that rear haunch, and I like this line that runs down. It's like, it is the silhouette of the car. It's great. But this was the generation after it had the pop-up headlights.
Right.
So it just kind of looks like all the cars from this era where they went from pop-up headlights.
Right. So like NSX,
to,
996.
They just headlightified the pop-up headlight thing.
Yeah.
On the
Well,
internet.
not 996, but either way, runny egg.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it. You know what? Now I just associate it with lightness as well. The fact that this is just over 3,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And has the great big stonking V8.
No, it is quite great.
It's also got a humongous trunk.
It is weirdly huge.
Like it could have been way less car.
Yeah, they could have made the whole overall thing smaller. Yeah. Anyway,
Small packages.
Speaking of smaller.
987.2. Now I know you're thinking, oh yeah, obviously it's a 0.2 because these fog lights are slightly further out than they would be on a 0.1.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Yeah,
And these
I spotted it immediately.
These are slightly more streamlined, but really it doesn't look that different.
No, it doesn't. This is such a great shape. I've always liked it because of this little bad boy right here.
Yeah, so I spoke about that when I was driving the car.
I like that bit.
I don't want to talk about it because I get too excited. However, as good as this looks, I'm really happy where they went with it. I think the 981 modernizes perfectly.
Yeah.
I think this sort of vent here with the extra grille things, that becoming a more simplified vent, and basically it ended up looking better. However, no question, this is a classic shape now.
It is a classic shape, and you know this never fell victim to the older 911 with the runny egg headlight thing.
Right.
It started here.
Yeah, because it started 987.
Exactly.
It never had a 986 life. That was Boxster only.
So all Caymans are pretty as a result.
All Caymans are pretty, but
Yes.
not all pretties are Caymans. This has a frunk, which is sizable.
Yes, it does.
And a trunk, which is less sizable.
Also sizable.
But like you could...
But still usable.
100%.
Like you could, these two cars for sure, you could daily them.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
And I know you're thinking like, oh, Miata's the only thing that exists, but that's where these come in.
I wasn't thinking
quite
that, neither were you.
effectively.
Anyway, moving on to the BMW Z4M Coupe.
Yes.
Oh, I said coupe. That felt good, actually.
Right?
It rolled off the tongue.
That's your European roots.
I was happy with it.
Do you have European roots?
Yes, I do, actually. Oh, I'm actually, this is very exciting.
I knew there'd be something.
No, I found out that I'm 25% Italian. That explains the Alfa Romeos.
Right.
And my love of pasta. I think this is a fantastic looking car.
Well, we so recently we're in the 2004 normal Z4.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see it in coupe form. I like it. I have two slight gripes.
Whoa.
Number one,
What are you talking about?
what we said about the front.
No.
The headlights look sad.
They do look sad.
And
That's
two,
true.
the way they've made this a coupe
Yeah.
looks a bit aftermarket to me. It doesn't flow in. The same, like if you compare Cayman to Boxster, the Cayman looks like it was melted into its shape. This looks like an aftermarket Miata hood.
No, I think this
thing.
is the proportions of where the hood is in relation, like this bit in relation to that bit, I think is perfect. I agree. I know what you're saying. Like this literally is a line
Yeah.
where it looks like they went boom and put. I get that.
Also, what's with the duck penis?
Sorry.
Why has it got a duck penis?
I'm upset that I know what you're talking about.
I just think that male ducks need to be nicer.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
not have things that look like that. And
It
I
does
don't know,
do that.
Why does the BMW have that?
I don't know. I hope you guys don't know what he's talking about, but I do. Anyway, let's take a look at the interiors, because that's a big part of living with. Speaking with big trunk, have to say, it's got a lot of space.
No frunk.
Doesn't matter. It's got an S54. That's where you carry your S54. It goes up in the frunk.
It has the least space.
Not on the inside, though.
All right, let's have a look.
Okay.
That just opened.
Yeah, I planned that. Yeah. So this is, first of all, this particular car is extremely clean.
We've got very lucky today.
Yes.
So all three cars are from Throttle House subscribers, and they're all pristine. And normally we get in trouble for finding ratty versions.
We did not do that today.
These are This is
beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
almost showroom. Also, there's a ton of headroom.
Yes.
It's like a ton of headroom.
Well, the owner of this is very tall.
Yeah, and he comfortably fits. I really, really like the interior of the Z4. I always have, but I've never actually been in a Z4M, and I think this is my favorite interior of the era.
Isn't the only difference this from the normal Z4?
Well, this,
the M
this
steering
little
wheel.
M steering wheel, M badge
I
right
find
here,
this
right?
too thick.
No,
I don't
no,
need
no,
this
no,
much
no.
girth in my life.
Oh, I love the girth. I do.
I mean, it's emasculating, and I really, honestly, it's too thick. I don't know what they're doing with that.
I don't know. It's very BMW, the meaty steering wheel. I think it really works. I don't really have any complaints whatsoever about this interior. I like the driving position is good. The seats are extremely comfortable.
It's good.
Right? I like this material. This is similar to the E92 M3. Cup holders exist.
It's because it didn't break anything.
Should we move on? We should run away. We should run away. Safe. Okay, so the driving position in this is immediately better than that. That's a good driving position, but this is better. You can get lower, and the steering wheel comes like perfectly at
It's
you.
bad. It hasn't got outrageous girth.
No, it doesn't.
So thank credit to Daniel, the owner of this. He's actually let me live with this for quite a few days,
Yeah.
and I've really got on with it. I think the seats are very comfortable.
Seats are comfortable.
Everything's easy. So this got a few updates over the 987.1. This whole panel sort of improved. I think the material quality of things improved.
Yeah.
The steering wheel changed.
You know what's funny is that this isn't actually that, much older than what the new Subaru BRZ that we're comparing
This
to
isn't that
looks
much.
like.
This isn't much older than the new Cayman.
I know,
looks like.
that's true,
It just
yeah.
happens to be CarPlay.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
probably stick a CarPlay unit in this, and then you would have no idea this wasn't a new car.
100%.
I mean, even the gauge clusters don't look that old.
Yeah, the design is good.
Yeah, we got 3 instead of 5 because it's not a 911.
Yeah.
We have a stupid speedometer that goes up in increments of 50, which makes no sense.
That is so useless.
And
But you got to speed in the middle, though.
You do
so
have
you're
to speed in
fine.
the middle, and
Yeah.
in the miles per hour ones, it goes up by 25s.
Right. Okay.
Weird.
But the thing is that like Porsche always had a reputation for having some of the best interior quality. But getting out of that, all the things that happened notwithstanding, in getting into this, this isn't any better. It's not any nicer.
It's kept, well,
Is
yeah.
it though?
This has almost 100,000 kilometers on it,
Good point.
and it feels mostly new. Like if you weren't looking at like maybe the steering wheel, everything
Yeah.
looks pretty brand new.
It does have all the features as well, right? It's got a little bit of storage here and there, right?
Yeah, I don't think we have extended leather package stuff. I don't think we haven't got the Bose, but the speakers are still quite good. I have linked the Bluetooth, which it was a huge, boon in this era, but it's not very good, and it's phone call only.
Right.
But there is an aux cable in the thing, so
Nice. Okay.
We've got cup holders.
Nope. You don't get to. Well, you've done enough. Anyway, this is a great interior. It really is.
It's good.
It's held up well. I would drive this every day and be totally happy with it. Should we go look at what GM was doing at this time?
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
You comfortable?
Bit slidey.
Yeah.
Look, it doesn't win the seat game of the three.
No, the seat, they're not so much seats as they are a pool noodle that happens to be near the steering wheel. Leather quality also not. This particular one that was extremely clean.
This is the least mileage car here, and it looks brand new.
You know how we say brand new as sometimes it's hyperbole.
Yeah.
This literally looks like a brand new car in here. It's really nice.
I don't think this is that much worse. You can talk about quality, and yes, some things when you press on them, they got a lot of squeeze to them.
Yeah.
But visually, I don't think this is that different to the other two.
I don't agree, but it is at least not as bad as some people make out this era to be. Honestly.
Yeah.
Especially when you see it in this state, right? It's really nice. Everything seems to have held up reasonably well. I like that handbrake too. That's cool. It's in a good spot.
Yeah, it's good. Is that carbon fiber? I don't even know what that counts as.
I'm not sure.
There's a weave,
There is a weave. It's not bad. Lots of headroom, right?
lots of space.
You can get your stuff because the
You get your
trunk's right
stuff.
there.
You can't see an engine through the hood like the ZR1,
Like the ZR1. That's okay.
but that's fine.
Quite a lot cheaper, so it gets away with that. It's got this here in case you forgot.
I wouldn't pass up any of these based on their interior.
No, the interior is not a deal breaker. The seats are a deal breaker.
Yeah.
The interiors in general, though, are not a deal breaker in any of these
Even
cars.
the ergonomics are quite good. The only complaint I have is that the seating position's too high. It doesn't go lower than this.
Yeah, this is more like a pickup truck, probably by
Right.
design, than those are, right? You don't get to really sink down into the car like you do in the Porsche. Okay, so, as you said, I don't think that the interiors are the thing that's going to decide which one, we would take instead of a BRZ. There's more to it than that.
It's power versus precision in the Cayman versus whatever that BMW is.
All the above.
It's a difficult decision.
It is.
I figured it might be.
No, I will. No, James.
I brought
No,
something.
don't. I won't. I won't do it. Oh, is that a cashew?
It is. I read about this on the internet. I think if I eat this, I
Yeah.
will get post-nut clarity.
Okay.
I don't feel any different. Maybe it's a different type of nut. Like a pistachio. Okay, 3 fantastic options then, instead of a Subaru. For the person that needs to find something in a store and actually asks the staff where it might be, there's the Cayman S. Showing its age in very few places, you could easily fool yourself into thinking that this is a less than 10-year-old car, not one that's almost 20. An excellent, sensible choice with perfect road manners.
The Z06 is the opposite. What it lacks in refinement, it makes up for with just raw, affordable power, a wonderfully satisfying manual transmission, and some overly roomy seats. It is a true Corvette. Which leaves the Z4M. It feels like it splits the difference. More exciting and edgy than the Cayman, but more precise and engaging than the Corvette. In fact, it's probably one of the best sports cars in this price bracket, period. Out of the 3, instead of the BRZ, the Z4M is easily my choice.
Credit to the BRZ, which as a reminder is the same price brand new. It's probably top 2 or 3 for me out of this lot. But for the alternative, I agree with Thomas. The Cayman might be easier to get along with, and the Corvette certainly has its place, but the thrills I want from a sports car by a small margin, the BMW does it best here. Thanks for watching. And a huge thank you to WeatherTech for once again letting me tar and feather Thomas in the public square, so to speak.
That cargo liner actually belongs in the cavernous trunk of the Corvette, and as you may have seen before, their floor liners are perfectly cut for your car's footwell or cargo area, so you can spill as much maple syrup, oil, as you want, and your interior will stay perfectly fresh. Easy to clean, easy to sanitize, no ruined carpets.
Click the link in the description to see what WeatherTech has for your car, and next time, we will take it a bit more seriously. Although I don't understand how you can get any more serious than protecting an unborn child. That's like the most serious way.
Because that's not what they're for, James.
Show them the child, Thomas. The child is fine.
Stay there, let me just ask that question again.
Oh, it's going in my ear!
Okay.
It's going in my ear! No!
Just make sure it's, you know.
Stop it! Will you stop it? I'm scared.
Don't worry, I've got backup. I got backup.
You just stuck it! Motherfucker! It's so sticky!
It's actually what shampoo's made of, so just be grateful. This is just pure.
I'm never gonna get this out of my hair.
I do believe the baby is no longer safe.
Okay. Somebody get this off of me. Oh my, stop it! Seriously.
Oh, it's sticky as hell.
You
Man.
know shit.
Like, I got one tiny drip on my arm. It's really causing me an issue. Joe, can you get me something? Can you get me something? I can feel it.
Oh, it's horrible,
I
isn't
can
it?
feel it on my arm.